It's now been 6 weeks since the groundhog made his prediction of an early spring, and all things considered, he was spot on. This week brings the final days of what's been the warmest winter on record for the state of Wisconsin. And the impacts of that lost winter will be felt in many ways, including the coming growing season. CBS 58 meteorologist Sam Kuffel sat down with a UWM professor who helped establish a national network to observe and discuss the concerns of an early bloom here in Wisconsin.
A record number of days and nights above freezing, a whopping 10 record warm lows, and hardly any snowpack had many Wisconsinites thinking spring throughout the winter. While some enjoyed golf in February, others noticed maple syrup flowing early and the buds starting to appear weeks ahead of normal. UWM Distinguished Professor of Geography Mark D. Schwartz studies the seasonal cycle and says he tracks the start of spring by observing the state of lilac and honeysuckle buds.
In the middle of the winter, like say on the lilacs that I look at a lot, they're desiccated and they've already swollen, so it means the plants have already pumped the moisture into it.
Once the buds are swollen or cracked, it puts observers on high alert because another warm stretch of weather could start the leaf out process early. According to the National Phenology Network, which uses thousands of citizen reports, the emergence of leaves is running between 2 to 3 weeks ahead of normal across a large portion of the U.S. This trend may continue for southern Wisconsin as well.
The longer-term forecast for here suggests that the beginning of our spring, as measured by these shrubs, is going to be maybe 5 to 10 days earlier, which would put it closer to the 1st of April rather than about the 10th of April, which is our typical time.
A stretch of cooler weather near the end of March would slow this trend, but that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing.
We usually have frosts after this, what I call early spring period, but the natural plants are adapted to those. And so what ends up happening is that you get the plant growth earlier, the plants get to a more advanced state, but the frosts are still at this typical time, and then you get this damage.
This is what happened in early spring 2012 when a killing frost in early April severely damaged fruit crops around the state that had flowered after a record warm March. While the frequency of early leaf outs is increasing, the timing of a singular damaging frost event hasn't been changing much year to year.
And this is the concern that we have going forward. We're still going to have early springs and late springs. This is what I tell people with the gardens, that you can't just start planting earlier because we're still going to have late seasons, but there are going to be more of these earlier events and more of these opportunities where in effect, things are going to be out of sync and the plants are going to be growing and then potentially still get zapped by a frost.
Winter is experiencing the most change in the Great Lakes region, and Milwaukee ranks 7th in the nation when it comes to the increase in very warm winter days. While a warmer winter, especially late winter, can jumpstart the growing process, there are questions and concerns about how much our native plants can handle.
I think this is the other issue with natural plants, is they can't just keep getting earlier and earlier with no end. There is some limit, but we don't really quite understand exactly what that is, and undoubtedly it's different for different kinds of plants.